I've bought the same motorhome twice.
The same motorhome twice?
I did go through a period of buying some weird things, including a church organ.
What?
I cannot play the piano.
Let alone an organ. It turns out churning butter is hell.
Come on, let's just go down and buy a packet of Spreadable.
Some children will be out there dressed as Elsa from Frozen.
Yes, they will. And if you come to my door dressed as Elsa, no sweets.
You've got a very clear
Very
policy.
hard policy. You better be scary.
Hello and welcome to Spent, brought to you in association with Nationwide, a good way to bank. It is the show where our guests show us the receipts. Quite literally, we're going to dig through things they've bought, the ones they loved, the ones they regret, and the ones that made almost no sense at all. And along the way, we're going to find out a little bit more about who they are. And today, I'm joined by comedian and actor Marcus Brigstocke. Marcus, thank you, and how are you?
I'm very well, thanks for having me.
Hey, it's lovely to see you, and it's nice to see another person wearing a cord.
Cords.
Yeah. Now, have we got to the age where wearing cords is cool or
No, don't fall for that
Has
mistake.
it ever been cool to wear a cord?
Look, if you're Jarvis Cocker, yes.
I'm not. I don't know if you noticed.
All day
I'm not.
long. No, I can see
Right,
that.
okay,
I can
good.
see that you're not. But do you know, I started my stand-up career for the first nearly 10 years of being a comic. I wore a corduroy suit.
Right.
And this is back in the days when people could smoke in comedy clubs. So they're all facing the stage, all smoking, and the corduroy would just
Absorb
the smoke. Anyway,
This was probably pre-Febreze. the science wasn't there.
It smelt. My corduroy suit smelt so bad, and bless it, when I eventually decided to no longer be the corduroy comedian, it went off and pursued its own career very successfely. I'm pleased for it. But
like Emu,
exactly.
when Rod wasn't around anymore.
Passed on sadly. But I used to have it was sort of a reference rather than a joke about corduroy coming from the French corduroy, fabric of the king.
Right,
which is not true.
Okay, you
Not
had
true.
me. I was suckered right into that.
It's plausible, but not true. So I said it for years and years and years. And then years later, when I became, and this is a true story, an honorary lifetime member of CAC, the Corduroy Appreciation Club.
Wow.
You had no idea where you were going when you mentioned
idea. So hang on, there's a if a civilian wants to become a member, there's presumably a rigorous audition process, a panel of judges, you have to be maybe referred by some other corduroy
I think you do
wearers.
have to be referred. So, and they meet on the 11th of November, 1111, that being the date which most closely resembles corduroy.
Yes, that makes sense.
They came and presented me with a plaque, lifetime honorary membership of
incredible.
CAC. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, good times. But anyway, so the rumour about corduroy came back to me, and someone repeated it to me years later and went, it comes from the French, fabric of the king. I went,
my gosh.
It doesn't. I made that lie up.
That's incredible. That's like when people who write books of facts put a fake fact in there so that if someone writes like a TV quiz later on, they're like, you've not done your own research. I invented it. If all three of your receipts are to do with corduroy, I'm going to assume that you are a plant from CAC.
I tell you this, right? I think since I reached the age where I have been spending my own money, being an adult and earning it and all the rest of it, there has not been a single year in the 30-something years that I've been making my own money where I haven't spent a good amount of it on corduroy items, even after I stopped wearing the corduroy suit. So it is pertinent to
It is
conversation.
pertinent, yes.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, your main interest and passion is corduroy. We know that. Yeah. But secondary to that is stand-up and comedy. Talk to me about your latest show. What's the theme? Because I know it's to do with what it is to be a man.
It's us.
It's us.
It's the nonsense that is us. Yeah, it's called Vitruvian Mango, based on Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, who was the image of the ideal man. That bloke with the two sets of arms.
Oh, that's what that is.
That guy. That's Vitruvian Man. So he's the ideal man. So the show, the serious approach to it is looking at this idea of, well, what is an ideal man? I mean, we're way past the point where anybody wants us to lift anything up anymore, right? We're past the point where men have any sort of meaningful dominance anywhere. Like, there's a long list of stuff that most of the men that I know fully accept we are not wanted for anymore. And you could probably summarize it by saying it's stuff we assumed women wanted us to do for them without ever checking.
Yeah.
That's sort of a way of summarizing it, right? So most men know the stuff that we're not really for anymore, but not enough of us have considered, well, what are we for? What is positive masculinity as opposed to toxic masculinity, and all of these discussions that go on. So the whole show is looking at that, looking at my own frailties as a man. Like, I feel like more of a man when my wife asks me to reach something she can't reach. That's how thin my masculinity is.
Yeah.
It's like, can you get that? And I'm
It's
like, yeah, I can.
teetering on the edge, that one, isn't it?
It's so thin. And I sort of started looking at it and realizing ideas about masculinity, generally speaking, are quite thin. And I actually think it's a virtue. I don't think that's a frailty. So yeah, and it's, the grisly stuff is number one cause of death for men under 50 is suicide. Like, that is messed up. If it was top 10, you'd be like, oh, really? It made the top 10? That's awful. Number one, come on, that's gross. It should be parkour or misjudging a curry. That kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a sort of, as with all my shows, there's a very serious idea that underpins it all. And then the great thing about comedy is it keeps you honest. If they're not laughing, you're not doing your job, right? So anything that isn't funny doesn't make the show. I can have a serious agenda underneath, and then if it isn't funny, I can't talk about it.
And without spoiling the show, what conclusions did you personally draw?
Well, so actually, I've tried to avoid drawing any big conclusions other than this. As I've got older, I have understood that male friendship is really important and needs my time, my energy, my honesty. So I have a lot of male friends and I love them. And the ones that I really love know that I love them because I tell them. Like, we don't hold hands and sing Kumbaya, right? But I have one friend in particular who I meet up with at least once a week, often twice, and we just go for a walk together. And we're not going for a therapy walk. We're not having a men's mental health, rescue session. We're just being friends in a really active way. And if I don't invest energy into that, then what is it? What is a friendship that has none of your energy? So that's sort of a conclusion. And then I do a thing with the audience, which to begin with made me really nervous, and now I love it. I ask if there's any blokes there who are there with a mate. You can be with your partner or whatever, but they're with a mate. And there always is. And then I say to them, okay, how long have you been friends, and blah, 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 blah. Now, can you tell me one thing that you love, like, or admire about your friend? And usually they'll start by going, oh, he's a bit of a knob, but I like him.
Yeah.
And then I've learned, if you give them time, they'll start with that. They go, oh, I don't know, he's just an idiot, isn't he? He's my mate. And then you just wait, and they'll say something like, and every time I feel like I don't know what I'm doing as a parent, I know he's someone I can go to. And you sort of go, wow, this is it, and hopefully those friends already know that about each other, but they end up saying something in front of me, in front of an audience of 500 people or so, this lovely little thing about each other. And that's kind of how the show ends. And I'm not saying you need to go around saying, I like you because you are like this, but it's become my favorite bit of the show.
It sounds really amazing. Nice.
It's cool.
I've got a friend, Jerry, and I noticed with his sort of closest circle of friends, firstly, everything happens on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And if he's got a life crisis or a dating thing or whatever, he's 27, he will just put it into the group. And this group is like a place where they all celebrate each other. Everything is just total positivity and love and warmth. And every time he would take a phone call, he would end it and he'd say to his friends, I love you. And they'd say, I love you.
It's so lovely.
And I was like, why don't I have that with my friends? And it was something that really made me think, I got to go out there and I've actually got to have these conversations and make sure my friends know that they are appreciated. But it was just lovely to see him do that. And there was no kind of, I don't know, there was no awkwardness around
and no agenda. It's just like coming from you have to be careful, I think, to sort of generalize and say women are just better at that stuff, right? But I think I am going to generalize and say I think that probably is true. I think for lots of complicated reasons, it's been a little bit more difficult for men to do that. And I don't think it's any sort of capitulation to a melt agenda or whatever, the sort of the feminizing of man for loads of guys. I mean, if you think about how soldiers work with each other, I mean, you know, across all branches of the military, they will come back with those bonds really intact, and also with the darkest sense of humour you've ever found. And, you know, the same is true in hospitals where people are in stressful situations. Loads of people find that those boundaries, those barriers that exist between them get broken down, and they're really more easily able to cross them. Whereas in a sort of social situation, actually, where you'd think it'd be easier because you're more relaxed or whatever, it can be more difficult. But that, as I said, is my favourite part of the show. I really love it. And there's men sometimes having a beautiful moment of vulnerability in front of an audience, because I hate that thing where comics basically use the audience to make their show.
Yes.
Even though I confess that is a bit what I'm doing, but it's a structured approach to that, and it's not about making them look stupid.
Yeah, well, it's quite the opposite of that.
No, it's
like you're giving them a gift, you know.
Yeah. And it's amazing the reaction in the room too when they will say something lovely about each other. You can really feel it. The whole room just goes, oh. Yeah. Feel your heart get bigger.
It's great.
It's nice.
That sounds magical.
Thanks, man.
You're doing good work out there, Marcus. I love it.
Yeah.
We should dive into some of the spending, though.
Let's talk about that money.
It is spent. Before we do, what is the first thing that you remember saving up for?
Yes. So I was thinking about this, and I think it was probably Disintegration by The Cure on cassette tape.
Right.
Disintegration by The Cure remains one of my favourite albums of all time. And weirdly, when the band recorded it, they could record it, but live were far less able to play it than they are now. The iteration of The Cure that exists now, very old sort of post-punk goth men that they are, is better now than it ever was. So now when I go and see them live, it's amazing. But I saved up for that. And it was back in the days when the release of an album was like, it's coming, there's an article in The Enemy and The Melody Maker, and they've got the interview, and now there's a single, and will there be another single before the album, and you know the release date, and bang, there it is. And then you buy this whole piece of art, this whole collection of ideas that can only exist from those group of people in that moment. And it was really special for me, because I'd sort of inherited some tapes from my sister and stuff I'd like taped off the radio and stuff like that. Illegally, I might point out.
And we will, the authorities are still outside waiting to see.
Yeah, sorry. So that one I saved up for. And I loved the band and I loved that record, but I think because I had saved for it, tapes with these, you know, these little things that you could just carry around with you and hold. It was very precious.
Yeah, there's something quite beautifully tactile and the sort of weird mechanical nature of a tape, and its organic sound of it just clicking in. It's sort of something quite beautiful about it, and having to do that with a pencil.
I just want the beginning of that song. That's annoyingly the third song on the second side,
and also the power of prediction, where you're like, click.
Yes!
Have I got it? Yes, perfect. Always
exactly on the moment.
Exactly. Always a dream when you can listen to something at like 16 times speed and go, yep, that's the moment to go for it. I mean, it sounds then that music was like a massive driving force in your life.
Yeah. And it still is.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I'm as a spender, I'm actually relatively cautious. You know, I spend a lot on good food, but the one thing where I have a sort of I've lost control a bit is buying records.
Right, and have you gone to vinyl now? Yeah. Is that where you're at?
I mean, of course,
of course.
Look at me. Yeah, I mean, of course I have.
What is vinyl if not the corduroy of music?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, the tape was just right at that age. I was 15 when that album came out, and but now that I really like albums, and I like to stop what I'm doing and listen in an active way to a whole album, a whole piece of work. And so to have the vinyl thing and read the sleeve notes and sometimes lyrics or look at what artwork they selected, I really like. I mean, my thing now, apart from The Cure, who I still love, and Pink Floyd and lots of other, and even some new music. Can you imagine?
What?
Yes. Yeah. Well, the last couple of years have been amazing.
It's been really good.
It's been so good. So good. English Teacher are unbelievably brilliant.
Incredible.
Fontaine's DC, brilliant. Even the new Suede record, I was like, hello. But it's jazz for me. Jazz is the thing. And it's perfect if you're a nerd, because you can just go in and in and in and in, and just keep exploring and researching. And the sleeve notes on the back of a jazz album are usually written by a journalist as opposed to like a band member or whatever. Most of them could play and could barely write, So it's often like a full history of the musician and a breakdown of the tracks piece by piece.
Wow.
I spend more money than I want
on jazz,
on vinyl records. But I don't think, apart from some of the really weird squeaky ones that sound like a drum kit's been flung down the stairs, I don't think I've regretted any of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you musical yourself?
Well, I play the trumpet, but I was very badly. Some people will do that out of modesty and go, no, well, I dabble, and then and they're amazing. I really am like so bad. But I think that learning things as an adult is really cool.
I love it.
Really good thing to do.
I love learning new things. It's all I'm interested in.
Yeah, right. So I was having lessons, and then that pandemic thing came along.
Yeah.
Did you saw that?
I was aware of it. I was kind of involved.
Oh, cool. Yeah, me too.
Not on a sort of ground zero level.
No, sure. You didn't start it. Let's be clear.
Listen, I didn't eat a bat. I want to make that very, despite what you've read on the internet, it wasn't me. All right.
Yeah. Well, that sort of scuppered the trumpet lessons, and then sort of by the time it was all over, Rachel and I had a baby, and you can't. As it stands, I can't learn the trumpet and have
a baby at the same time. Yeah, those two things are not compatible.
There is enough noise in our house.
Yeah, there's nothing in the Venn diagram between a trumpet and baby. No. Oh, and actually, the thing is, noise.
Yeah.
Not unwanted noise.
Exactly.
Let's get into receipts then. And the first one I want to see is the receipt for the thing you last bought. And the important thing for me here is honesty.
Yeah.
Don't just say something exciting. Tell me the truth.
No. I'll tell you, the honest truth. Literally, the last thing was 2 packets of bacon, some almond milk. I never thought I'd go off the side with the milks.
Yes.
I've gone.
Yeah, because, you've leapt over oat and gone straight to almonds.
I've cleared. I don't even like almonds very much. No. So I don't know what I'm playing at, but on cereal, weirdly, delicious. So bacon and almond milk. But that's groceries. So the last thing I bought was costumes for Halloween.
Oh, what are you going as?
Well, so...
Or what did you go as? Because this would be out in the future.
Yeah. Well, our little lad, who's 4, is very clear, and he's right, that Halloween costumes should be scary.
Well, do you know what? It's quite nice that he's got such a firm opinion on that at such a young age, because it is a controversial topic, because some children will be out there dressed, I'm not naming names, will be out there dressed as Elsa from Frozen.
Yes, they will.
And yes, it might be scary to receive a curse of frozen powers on a deeply personal level, but is it terrifying? No.
No. Elsa is a very tormented character. She isolates herself enormously. She's afraid of her own powers. She has a complete breakdown in her relationship with her sister, and very nearly kills people by mistake. So as a horror character, sure, but no one's buying it at Halloween.
No one's buying that, no.
And if you come to my door dressed as Elsa, no sweets.
Really?
No sweets.
Have you got a very clear
very
policy?
hard policy. You better be scary.
Got to be scary.
You better be spooky. So the answer to your question is, for me, Captain Hook.
Great.
Captain Hook.
That's very good.
Quite a scary guy. And I played Captain Hook in pantomime many years ago, and I went for There's lots of fun bits, and spoiler alert, I did end up getting bested by Peter Pan. But I went for the really, like, the darkness of it, and it was really great. I remember so well. I've been lucky enough to do a lot of cool theatre projects over the years. I remember so well when I broke into Peter Pan's lair and found it and poisoned his medicine. You'd see these tiny little tots at their first ever theatre show and hear them going, "No, wake up, Peter, wake up," and like really just not crying, but, you know, on the edge of really worried. And you know as you do it that just moments later, firstly, Tinkerbell will save the day, and then Peter will best me and chase me into the mouth of a crocodile. So they will have all the things they want. So I really I loved that. I loved it. And
it's their first taste of Jeopardy you've given them.
It's so special. And like there are people have lots of mixed feelings about pantos, but all the good ones tell the story properly. Right? Tell a proper story. Some have forgotten that and they're just like, here's famous person from Thing and and it's all wacky and it's quite good fun. But the ones that try and tell a story, I'm like, that's how you get kids hooked on theatre for life. So I like that. So Captain Hook for me. And weirdly,
sorry, was it the costume from that production, or if you had to go
I wish
acquire your own Captain
wish
Hook?
That costume was superb. It was so good. I mean, really brilliant. And I had enough time before I got cast as Captain Hook to grow my own big, long, twiddly-ended moustache. And I got like jewels on my teeth and stuff and blacked out a couple of my teeth. So I loved it. I loved it. So I'll be Captain Hook. And then our little boy is going as the Joker, which I think from Batman, right? Which I think is really dark.
Yeah, it's very dark. And also, which iteration of the Joker?
Well, so that's a really interesting question, because there's the Cesar Romero one from the Adam West Batman.
Yes.
Who, if you go and watch the Batman film,
is an incredible movie.
Oh, it's amazing.
Incredible movie.
He clearly had won a contractual battle that said, no, I'm not shaving off my moustache. And they just apply the makeup over his stash. Incredible. Not that Joker. So he is going as the scariest Joker, but he doesn't know that.
Right.
All he knows is, because all of his little friends, it's amazing how much they're into the superheroes. Batman and Spider-Man are massive in his life, and all his friends, they love the power of it, right? That's a goodie. That's a baddie. They've got powers. They've got badness, and, you know, the sort of the constant duality of that. So he's really into the idea that the Joker is a scary, bad man.
Yeah.
And so he's going as the Joker,
Fantastic.
which I think is like, oh, wow, okay.
I think if I saw a kid with Heath Ledger's Joker makeup on, I would be terrified.
That is pretty much what we're going for.
Great.
The outfit we bought came with a face mask that we've instantly banned because it is terrifying.
Yeah.
Genuinely terrifying. But we're really lucky. We've got, I live in southwest London, and we've got a really good party shop. And I'm quite old fashioned in terms of spending. Whenever I can, forgive the smugness of this, but whenever I can, I go to a shop.
Yeah.
A shop run by people, as best as possible, an independent shop. So I buy my veg from a fruit and veg guy. It's a stall in Balham where I live. And
you get your hooks.
And I get my hooks from Hooks R Us. And I go to the butcher to buy meat, stuff like that. So we've got a party shop, and obviously Halloween is when they make most of their money.
Incredible. My first job ever was in a party shop, joke shop in Portsmouth. And it was one of those places that was like a cave of wonders where there were just like rubber masks strewn up. And they had shelves that went all the way to the ceiling with wigs and outfits and all sorts of stuff. I loved it.
Yeah. It's brilliantly monstrous. Dressing up, I really like dressing up. You know, I don't like anything where people feel obliged to do it, you know, and I think... Yeah, you should definitely say we've Americanized All Hallows Ian.
I love it. Give it all to me.
It's good fun.
Yeah, it's great.
As long as everybody plays by the rules, which are, if you have a pumpkin outside your house, then you're playing.
Yeah.
If you don't have a pumpkin outside your house, you are not playing, and your door should not be knocked upon. right? You should just be left alone.
I completely agree.
And that's it. It's
That's
pretty
great.
simple rules of engagement.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I love it. What's the most outlandish costume you've ever had, or that you've ever worn to something?
Well, I went as a door once. I was very young. In fairness, I went as a door, and I had sort of using slings over the shoulders, managed to put a door panel in front of myself,
Right.
with a number and a sort of doorknob.
This wasn't for Halloween, was it? Because your
No,
son would
this
object because
was-
it's not scary.
This was someone's party. I mean, I have no idea why we were dressing up, but I think I'd gone to the 3 previous dress-up ones as one of the Blues Brothers.
Okay.
I'm guessing almost certainly Jake. So I went as a door, and I had, I confess, placed the letterbox in a place that would get me cancelled now.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. All right.
And
well,
I invited people to post letters.
okay.
Look, it was a different time.
It was a different time. It was a different time. The world has moved on.
Yes,
You can't even dress as a door anymore.
You can't even dress as a door anymore.
I can't believe it. What's the world come to? Now, I'm hoping the answer to this next question isn't the door, because it's what is something that you regret spending your money on, a purchase that you look back and think, maybe I shouldn't.
Well, now, I bought the same motorhome twice.
The same motorhome twice?
Yeah, so I'm a touring comedian.
Yes.
I do lots of festivals. I do lots of tours. Having a motorhome is pretty great.
This is genius. Is this a known thing amongst comedians?
A few comics haven't. So there's a practicality issue, which is you finish shows late, and actually making your way to somewhere you can legally, safely park a motorhome after a show is a mixed bag. But there have been times where I've done wild camping, right? A spot that's legal, which is now much easier. You can just look them up. Where, you finish a tour show, you're on your own, you drive to somewhere beautiful, you park up, and in the morning, you open the blind, and there you are by a mountain, the sea, a river, a lake, whatever, the back of someone's estate.
Yeah, you're in the middle of a roundabout.
Yes, exactly. I've missed. I mean, this is technically legal. I've checked, but so I bought a motorhome many, many years ago for trips with the kids, for festivals, and all the rest of it. And
was it just you driving yourself to the gig in the motorhome?
Yeah.
Doing your show?
Yeah.
And then you just go to bed?
And sometimes I would go to bed at the back of the theatre. I would, if they had a scene loading dock, I would leave the motorhome parked there because you could plug into the electric mains if you wanted to. It had, an oven and a telly and a fridge and a toilet and a shower and solar panel and all the stuff. So sometimes I'd just go, well, I may as well just stay here because you're going on to the next venue.
Idea. It's such a smart idea.
You see, bands have done it for years, the tour bus.
Yeah.
Right? It's slightly different if you're a comic on your own, I guess. But so it was a real mix of like family fun times, festival fun times. I mean, that motorhome hosted. I mean, think of a famous comedian. They've been in my motorhome, backstage at Glastonbury, at Latitude, at all of the festivals. And then it got stolen.
No.
As a great many of them do. It got stolen in broad daylight from outside my house.
Oh, no.
And I was heartbroken because, my kids had sort of, my now adult kids had grown up, family holidays in there. Anyway.
It had the imprint of Johnny Vegas's bum.
It literally
on
did.
A bonquette.
It literally did. Yeah, Phil Jupitus had slept in the double bed above the cabin.
Oh
I generously handed that to
the stories.
Well, I went in the back, and yeah. So it was.
And when you say in broad daylight, where were you at this point?
I did exactly where I was because I didn't normally park it outside the house. I had a place for it, but I had just had it fixed up. The roof had been leaking. I brought it home and I was a bit worried about it being out on the street. And I got up in the morning, I checked out the window, there it was. I got in the shower, I got out of the shower, and in the time that took, which was all of about 15 minutes at around 9 o'clock in the morning,
That's an indulgent
it went
shower.
then, a very busy time of day, and it went then in broad daylight. And I was gutted, and the insurance company were great, and they really were. They were amazing. They paid out the value of the motorhome and all the stuff that was in it, and they were nice about it.
Yeah, and did they take into account the Phil Jupiter's value? Because it's hard to
it's very, very
value of
hard
that.
to say to them, look, Jeremy Hardy came and ate spatchcock poussin in this motorhome.
Yeah, and they knocked the price down.
We swapped truly disgusting stories. So they were great. Anyway, I was at a thing 2 years later, and I still missed the motorhome, but there it was. And I got a phone call, and I answered the phone, and they said, "Oh, hello, it's Norfolk Police here." And I thought, "Oh no, what have I done? This will be speeding for sure."
It's the letterbox thing.
Yeah, finally
bite.
they've come back. Yeah. They've found that the door has been retrieved. And the police officer said, "Sir, do you own a motorhome?" And I said, "No, I don't. Sadly, it got stolen." She said, "Well, I'm standing in it." 2 years later.
Wow.
And I went, "What?" She said, "Is there anything you can tell me about this motorhome that would identify it as uniquely yours?" Because obviously there are some.
Have you ever seen Johnny Vegas's backside?
I said, "Yeah, Jeremy Hardy's manicure set." And there was a small adaptation I had made to the motorhome, and I told her, and she went, "Cool, well, here it is." So what happens then is you have to buy it back from the insurance company.
Right.
And I said to them, "Okay, why don't I just give you everything you gave me?" And they said, "No, legally, you have to buy it back at auction. That's just the rules."
Right.
Why? I've no idea. I asked them 100 times. I've no idea why, but that's how it works. So I bought it back at auction for much more than it was worth.
Right.
Because my heart was so attached to it, because my kids had grown up in it, right?
Yeah.
And it was mine. And to be fair, when I got it back, there was a little cab, a little sort of box on the side of it, just behind the driver's door, that was always very difficult to open. Only I could do it. I knew how to jiggle the key in just that way. I opened it, and my kids' buckets and spades were still in there 2 years later, because the scumbag who stole it had not managed to open it. He, by the way, is doing 9 years in jail.
For that motorhome?
No, he'd stolen. That was the vehicle he used to get him around various other things he stole.
Oh, okay, fine.
They got him for a lot. So anyway, I bought it back at auction at a silly price at a time in my life where it was a wildly stupid thing to do. I didn't need it. I wasn't going to use it. My life had changed. It needed so much work to be fixed and cleaned up and all the rest of it after this guy had nicked it. And then I sort of got it back, and I had a couple of attempts at making it feel like mine again, and they failed so utterly. So I actually sold it. I sort of hung on to it for 4 or 5 years, and I sold it this year. And I was really sad to see it go. And then I thought, do you know what? Someone, hopefully, will have what we had in that thing. So I felt good about it again. But I did massively regret it. And my wife, Rachel, we had not been together very long when I bought it back. And she wasn't at a stage in our relationship where she felt able to go,
"What are you doing?
Please don't buy the motorhome you used with your first wife."
Yeah.
Can you
so
not?
many happy memories of this motorhome.
Right.
Let's get up to the bunk bed.
Yeah, exactly. So she just didn't feel quite understandably able to say that. And I was obtuse and didn't really think of it. So that I don't regret buying many things. There is also a sleeveless denim jacket I once bought with a hood sewn into it. Regret that. But it's simpler.
Yeah. Well, listen, that was a very moving story. I liked it.
Never buy the same motorhome twice.
No, never do it. Do you know what? I was waiting for a piece of life advice to hit me today, and it's hit me. One. Before we move on to our final question, we like to receive emails here. I don't know if you've heard of an email. It's like an electronic piece of mail.
I'm a new guy.
Yeah. But one's been sent in here, and it comes from Daisy, and we're sort of interested in what people are spending their money on.
Okay.
And so, well, let's hope we are interested in what Daisy has to say, which is this. I went through a brief cottagecore phase and I bought a butter churn. I think my wife went through a cottagecore phase as well.
Yeah.
Probably during COVID, actually.
So cottagecore is imagining you live in a little cottage in the countryside where you would, for example, churn your own butter.
Yeah. You've got an Arga.
You don't have an entire herd of anything, but you have a couple of goats.
Exactly. Couple of goats and...
enough chickens.
Yeah. And exactly. You're making your own omelettes from those things. Yeah.
It's a wonderful idea.
It's a lovely idea, yeah, and presumably that's why Daisy's gone for it.
Yeah.
I imagined lazy Sundays making my own butter, like some rural goddess. It turns out churning butter is hell.
Yes.
It took an hour. My arm nearly fell off, and it tasted like sadness.
I mean, butter's so nice. The answer to why restaurant food tastes nice is butter.
Butter and salt.
That's why it's butter.
Yeah, all salted butter.
So, yeah, exactly. So to have made butter taste of sadness, Daisy, I'm so sorry. But I still admire the fact that you didn't just give up and go, oh, what the hell? Come on, let's just go down and buy a packet of Spreadable.
I once tried to make a thing called buttermilk, which now is very popular in fried chicken and stuff like that. But the way you make it is by beating butter, if you'll excuse that term.
Yeah.
And you have to do it to try and separate the fatty bits from the liquid bits.
Yeah.
It took so long, Marcus, I can't begin to tell you. And at the end, we had this tiny, tiny bit of buttermilk. But it was, I mean, it made what we were cooking or baking delicious. Yeah. But what a task.
Yeah, it is a task. I marinate my Christmas turkey in buttermilk.
Right.
Which, if you have the space to do it, I was persuaded to do it against all. I was like, come on, what a faff. Christmas is hard enough without this. I've started doing it in buttermilk. It's a game changer.
Really?
With regret, it is a game changer. But making it so difficult. So I am, amongst other things, jazz bore, sure, motorhome enthusiast, comedian, third or fourth on the list. I'm also an international cheese judge. I judge at the World Cheese Awards and I host tasting and pairing events and all this kind of stuff. I can tell you, similar to making buttermilk, making cheese is so difficult.
I can't even begin to imagine.
You can make cottage cheese, you can make paneer, but even making a sort of a reasonably good paneer is, I think, difficult. And so my already huge admiration for cheesemakers and the success story of people who own dairy farms who've started making cheese and have actually made milk production worth something in this country is really something close to my heart. I think they're wonderful people. And now that I know how hard it is to make cheese, I'm like, God bless you forever. You're good people.
Although we should say that, Marcus, you are in the pocket of big cheese.
I'm in the pocket of big cheese.
So you have to say that. Yeah. Well, Daisy, thank you very much for that story. And I'm sorry about the butter. I really am.
Butter that tastes of sadness.
Yeah, not good.
There's probably a Michelin-starred restaurant somewhere that offers that as a whole dish.
It's Heston. It's course 16 at Heston.
It's butter he's wept in.
That's right, yeah. It just tastes of despair. If you'd like to send us an email about sad butter or indeed any other purchase, please do get in contact. It's spent@seriouslypopular.com. Right, Marcus, we move on to a ridiculous purchase now. I'm in a way amazed the motorhome wasn't this.
Yeah.
So we're looking for something over the top, silly, just plain stupid that you've bought that you can tell us about.
So when I was first a comedian, I lived in Bristol, and it was weird. Fame is a weird offshoot of being a creative person, particularly being a comedian, because, the job is really clear cut. I speak, they laugh, that's it. And so the sort of metric for success is so measurable. If they're not laughing, I'm not doing my job. That's it. And I really like that. So the fame offshoot is this, we're an odd collection of people, comedians. We're awkward and ungainly and, weird. So I've never been very good at the sort of social thing. But I've never been more famous than when I was at university, when I first became a comedian, because I won the BBC New Comedian of the Year in '96 at the Edinburgh Festival, and it was on telly.
Amazing.
And it was on telly. And this is '96. Being on telly then was like, wow. Like, you could be on telly by mistake, but to be on telly on purpose.
Yeah, you could be in the back of a shot.
Exactly. Yeah. Or accidentally interviewed on a news program and make a fool of yourself.
Yeah.
But I was on telly on purpose, winning a thing. And then that meant I still had to sort of audition for it, but I was on the BBC stand-up show. And again, I was on telly on an even bigger program. And so at university, I was like, he's that guy who's on the telly while still doing my degree. And I started to gig a lot, loads, and everything was cash. And I've never felt more famous, and I've also never felt richer. So everything's in cash, and you sort of get it in your wallet, and you're like, oh my God, after a weekend, you're like, this is amazing. And I did go through a period of buying some weird things, including a church organ.
What?
Yeah.
From where?
Listen,
because in '96, eBay wasn't necessarily
I
a
would
buzz.
love to tell you that it was a giant church organ with pipes.
With the pipes, right.
Going up. It wasn't. It was for a small church, but it was in a cash converter.
Right.
Right. And I used to, because I had money that I'd got from gigs and was a university student, I didn't know what money was. I'd have said to my mates, come on, let's go out for dinner. But that would be no good because none of them could go out for dinner. Like, we did very occasionally. So I made some weird choices and I went into a cash converters and they had this keyboard. Now, let me make this crystal clear. My wife is a brilliantly talented musician, but this is a full 20 plus years before I met her.
Right.
I cannot play the piano or a keyboard or a church organ.
Let alone an organ.
Very difficult.
I mean, you have to have a sort of like, you have to have like 3 brains to be able to play an organ.
It had pedals to adjust all sorts of business. So
it's the little dials that you have to do to get the airflow going in particular places.
I could play the beginning of Smoke on the Water.
Right, okay.
But that was about it.
Yeah.
And I bought this church organ and with a friend carried it back to my student digs and just had it in there and played that.
That over and over.
And only that for a couple of years.
Wow.
Really, really bad.
What happened to the church organ?
So, well, it moved house with me.
Wow.
At the end of year 2 at university.
Okay.
It came with me to my new flat in my 3rd year, but it didn't come any further than that. So somewhere in a student flat in Bristol, I'd like to think...
Oh, you just left it in the flat?
I'd like to think some 30 years later that there are some students going, I wonder whose keyboard, I wonder whose church organ that is. That's a weird thing to have in a student flat. It was unbelievably heavy.
I can well imagine. I've got a little like upright piano.
Yeah.
And that almost killed 2 delivery men.
Oh, yeah.
When they were trying to get it into the house.
What was lovely, it was very occasionally someone would come to our flat who could play it and they'd sit and go, oh, this is cool. Oh, and they'd play it. And it did have a pretty nice sound to it, but I couldn't play it. Definitely a ludicrous purchase.
I have a friend, Jack, who can play an actual church organ with the pipes and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And he described how it works to me. And firstly, it's like an astonishing feat of engineering to the point where, like, how did anyone convince anyone to let them build this thing?
The first one
without any sort of proof. Like, guys, get me loads of tubes.
Yeah.
And an air pump.
Yeah, I'm gonna need bellows.
Yeah, I'm gonna need an entire church, please. But it's gonna sound. We're gonna hear God through this thing.
Yeah, trust me, Reverend. Once it's in, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
And now they're beautiful and commonplace. And when you hear one played properly, like Rachel, my wife can play them. Amazing.
When he was describing the separation of like hand-eye coordination, it's like a fighter jet.
I think that the church organ that I had was probably more for buildings that had been turned into a church.
Sure.
As opposed to, something built to honour God himself.
They were the annex where the Sunday school happened after church. We come to the final question. And it's to do with some money that Nationwide kindly gave you. £25.
hey, thanks, Nationwide.
Hey, listen, I'll pass on the message.
Thanks,
I'll
guys.
relay it back to them.
Appreciate.
25 quid, but it came with a caveat. You have to spend it on something you've never spent money on before.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued. What did you do with your £25?
So on a nightly basis, Rachel encourages me to apply a creme, as she calls it, to my face.
What's the difference between a creme and a cream?
Well, cream's delicious.
Right, okay.
I've absolutely no idea, but she's irritated that I won't, and she's irritated that without it, even though I'm sort of a bit hairy at the moment, I have really good skin. I do. I don't get spotty. I don't get particularly dry skin. I have a nice complexion and I'm sort of fine. And I don't put anything, by choice, I don't put anything at all on my face. You know, I'll wash my beard if it reaches a length that's necessary. And very occasionally I'll use a sort of moisturizing man wash. You know the difference, like a man one comes in a grey container.
Yes.
It's like a gun.
And it smells of a changing room.
Yeah, I mean, it has to look like it's not going to cause you any doubts as a man.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, you know, and if you accidentally use the wrong one, well, that's it. You're on the path then to some pretty complicated conversations with family members. So I've had a sort of a couple of them, but I will not put anything on my face. And I hate lip balm or anything like that. So
I'm with you on that one.
Can't stand it.
I don't like lip balm at all.
Ah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's conditioning my lips to feel dry and want it.
Please, thank you. That is exactly what it does. So if I get, you know, I set up a festival, a comedy festival in the Alps, the Altitude Festival, and it's brilliant. We go every year. Loads of comics go skiing with all the people who are at the festival, and then we all tell jokes all night. It's like
great,
the funnest thing ever. And even when I'm skiing, like if I get really cracked lips, then I will apply a medicated lip balm, but very last minute, if you know what I mean. But I think that is true about lip balm. I think if you start using it, your lips lose the ability to look after themselves.
They become reliant.
Whereas mine are soft and comfortable and not sort of dry or gross or anything.
I wasn't expecting this to be the brag that you went for.
Well, look, man, I'm not offering to kiss you during the podcast, but afterwards, if you wanted to kiss me,
I'm going to have to sample it.
Yeah, let's just see.
I literally can't take you at your word, you know.
Two predominantly straight married men who will not use lip balm are going to do a lip softness check just to see.
Just to see. In the name of science, it's fine.
So I don't like putting anything on my face. So what I've bought, thank you Nationwide, is some face creme.
Some face creme. So you're going to do it.
This
could be it now. This could be your life changed. Yeah. We actually have the very same one that you bought here. It's a daily moisturizer and it's got an SPF in it as well.
Yeah, I mean,
now
it's a good one.
That's good. That's very good. And hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid. I don't know what that does. And I don't think I'm
highly ironic acid.
It's highly ironic acid. Yeah.
It's so ironic. It's actually an alkaline.
We are going to pop that on the shelf behind us there. We might ask you to sign it for us so we can always remember those supple lips of yours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fine and it's gone on and it's fine.
So are you wearing it now?
I don't know. Like, how long does it last? Is it a week?
Well, when did you put it on?
This morning.
I would say it's almost definitely still there. Unless you've washed your face.
I put it here. It's on this side. I'll lift my glasses.
Sorry, you only applied it to one side of your face?
Yeah, otherwise, how would you know if it's any good?
Right, I see. So you're treating this as an experiment.
Of course it's an experiment.
So you're going to have one side of your face that's supple and moisturised and radiant, and the other's haggard.
And weirdly young.
Yeah.
And the other will be the face of a touring comedian who has a 4-year-old at home. Just exhausted.
Who spent too many nights in a motorhome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's an interesting experiment. Well, keep at it.
Thanks, man.
And then if you see Marcus on a TV panel show and you think, why does the right side of his face look hideous? Now you know.
Every time he turns to the side, he looks so good. He's really young. And then the other way, it's monstrous.
Yeah. Next year, it'll be the Joker and Two-Face. as the two people going out on Halloween. Marcus, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Anytime. Well, not anytime. We might have other guests on.
No, it'd be weird.
But if you want to pop back, who am I to stop you? That is another episode of Spent, brought to you in association with Nationwide, a good way to bank. As I said, Marcus, thanks for coming along. Not only sharing your receipts, but some lovely stories with us. And also some corduroy chat, which I didn't know I needed. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and you can subscribe to us on YouTube as well. And don't forget, do keep sending us your own spending confessions, butter or otherwise. We love hearing them. And we will be back next time with another guest and another journey through their purchasing past. And we'll see you there. I really hope you are enjoying Spent. If you want to see more, then follow us wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe on YouTube. Plus, check out This Is Money on Instagram and TikTok for bonus content with our guests.